Some of Pop's famous stories. I know you were just telling us about how you used to buy beagles for $40.
$40. My brothers just bought them cheaper than that. He bought it for $25 and killed 65 rabbits in 3 days.
Oh my goodness. I'm Stevie Thomas with Ballin' Out Kennels, and I just tried something a little bit different. I just completed a rabbit hunt up in Indiana with one of my really good buddies and his dad, and I tried to do something different. I'm not an interviewer, and I might be working a little bit on creating a podcast at some point, but I always just wanted to capture the memory of just sitting around and talking about dogs. So we were just having obviously I'm from Iowa, live in Iowa, traveled up to Indiana, and I wanted to share that experience with some of my buddies. So I just decided to record some of the stuff we were talking about. A lot of times that's the best part of the rabbit hunting, especially when you get with your buddies, is the stuff that you talk about that isn't always recorded. So I thought it was pretty cool, again, to share a memory with my buddy. This being the first time that I've attempted this, to where we recorded some of our conversation. I hope you can get some value from it. If not, maybe a few laughs. But here's the video. Well, I'm Stevie Thomas with Ballin' Out Kennels, and man, I'm here with some good buddies of mine. My man Cody right here.
Yep.
We got Pops. Man, I tell you, these dogs have really allowed me to meet some, man, I can't even say, some of the best people in the world, I think. See, I can't remember how long we known each other now. It's been a couple years.
Yeah, 2-3 years.
A couple years.
Yep.
I can't even remember. I think it started from Facebook, didn't it?
Facebook, yep.
Yeah.
I had 2 little pups. I either messaged you or you messaged me. I can't remember, but that's where it all started.
Yeah. I remember it's the dogs you running now, ain't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember seeing them videos because it's just same as what you do. I like hunting a lot, and I started seeing the videos pop up of you out with them little pups and you had them running. So I'm like, this type of dude, I need to get to know right here. We got the rabbit hunt today. Obviously, I'm up here in Indiana with these boys and these dogs. And Pop, you can probably attest to some of this. I know you've been running dogs for a long time now. How many friends you done made with these dogs? I can't put it past you, man. I appreciate the friendship all these years, dude.
I appreciate you coming. You came out here first, and you had us out there to your place last year.
Yeah, me and Tori made that first trip, and it's like some people probably think we crazy, bro. Like you going to hunt with some dude you met on Facebook, and Tori, we miss you on this trip.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Tori, we came out here the first time, and it literally was like we've been hunting together forever. I mean, it really was no different. That was literally the first time we ever met y'all in person and that sort of stuff. And
that's the thing too. You meet new people, and you never know what it's going to be like or whatever. You find those people you can just click with and not have to worry about anything.
Same page.
So
people's on the same page.
It's good.
It's hard to find.
It's really the love of them dogs, man.
Looking forward to Kansas, though, ain't you?
Oh man, we trying to put together some fun stuff, man.
Yep.
We got Kansas on the map, looking at mid-March. That's what we hoping for. That's what we shooting for. Mid-March, we gonna go down to Kansas. Y'all been down there already, right?
Twice. We've been out there twice.
What was y'all experience down there?
It's incredible, really. I mean, just like everything you think in rabbit hunting, it's out there. You don't have to fight to get rabbits up. The dogs just get to run constantly.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a blast.
So that's on my bucket list. Go down there, like I said, with it being a year-round season, which most people who run beagles, they know Kansas is the mecca pretty much because they got an open season or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a little more open out there than around. It's not woolly like we hunt around here.
Oh, they run pretty big circles down there too, then, or is it?
Yeah.
And you really get to hear them dogs run then. You know.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, you get 7, 8, 9 dogs down there.
Yeah.
You got some music.
We heard some music this morning. I mean, we got rained out probably 12 o'clock or so. It downpour like crazy, but we got to listen to some good music. Man, that place y'all took me to today, we ain't gonna disclose that because you might, as many rabbits as we saw, y'all might have some visitors down there. But I didn't get a rabbit today. Just before anybody clown me on, like, I'm gonna say it first. I did not get a rabbit today. I did not even shoot. But it's
tomorrow.
Hey, I hope so, man. We got one more day out here. You gonna try to make it happen? Who all got one today? I know y'all both y'all did. Or
he got one. 2. I got 2.
Yeah.
I didn't even think I got that one. My gun jammed on me. The other shell that was supposed to be in it was laying on the ground. So when I went to pull the trigger, click.
Don't feel bad. I've had I've had seasons I've went and walked and walked and walked like deer hunting. Never got one. Never fired a shot.
That's part of it, man. If you ain't missing, you ain't trying. At least that's what they tell you.
No.
We got to hear some of Pop's famous stories. I know you was just telling us about how you used to buy beagles for $40.
$40. My brothers just bought them cheaper than that. One off an old boy that lived there in Martinsville. He got it off the same guy we got off of. He bought it for $25 and killed 65 rabbits in 3 days.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, she was tough, and then 40, 45, $50 is all we ever gave for them.
Yeah,
And they give you a 2-week trial on them. Say, take them, hunt them. Don't take them home and put them in the pen.
yeah.
Take them out, run them, and if you don't like it in 2 weeks, bring it back.
Yeah.
I'll give your money back.
I think we're past them times.
Having that experience back then, and obviously seeing how kind of people do their dogs now, like what was the difference? Like, what do you see is the real difference in how people do that, to where they ain't giving free trials?
I think it's like a trust thing.
Is that what it is? You think too?
I think personally, because you just can't trust people nowadays. You know what I mean? People say stuff that's not true, and or they take it. You say, "Hey, give this guy a 2-week trial," and then he never shows back up with the dog, and you don't get your money. You know what I mean?
Back when we was buying them, there was a whole lot of dogs stolen. People would steal your dogs back then.
Really?
Yeah. And for them to give a 2-week trial, it might not ever see you again.
Right.
You know?
Do you think like the quality of dogs is different now, seeing what kind of is run now compared to when y'all were getting into it?
Well, a lot of people had field dogs. It's like field trials. It's like we went hunting with a gentleman we worked with in Indianapolis, and we took our dogs with his. Unbeknownst, his was field dogs.
Yeah.
And the dogs we had done brought the rabbit by and circled it again while they were still running.
Those guys are probably running like those old brace trial dogs.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Like the slower type?
Yeah.
I think there's a difference now than what there was back then. Some of them's hunting dogs and some of them's field dogs.
Well, I think there's a lot more variety of. I mean, field trialing's a lot different nowadays than what it was 50 years ago. You know, because if you look up, like, you can even get on YouTube and look up like brace field trial dogs. Or I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, but you'll see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Super like methodical and on the straddle in the track and want to bark at every track compared to like something what you're running. I mean, you could have 4 or 5 rabbits killed by the time those. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's probably what they experience.
God, yeah. I think they kind of bred for speed. It seemed like,
Yeah, nowadays.
Yeah, and some of that line control probably is not as important, especially in the gun dog. I mean, I go to field trial, every once in a while, stuff like that. But I want to kill rabbits. Like, it's gonna be more.
Well, that and I see some of these guys on Facebook and stuff that are big field trials, and I mean, you see the videos of their dogs, and you could kill a pile of rabbits in front of them dogs.
Yeah, they get to moving.
Yeah,
some of them fast.
They get to moving. That's what I'm trying to figure out too. Trying to figure out a way. That's the conversation of what's the speed of the dog? How fast is the dog? Only way I ever really know to like understand is like using time. You know what I mean? Like if you think of a sprinter. Somebody go 100 yards and let's say they run a 10-9, college or high school, that dude's moving compared to like a professional. He's running 9 seconds, 100-meter dash and stuff like that.
Well, that and I think it has a lot to do with like the terrain and stuff you're running into, especially like your dogs are fast dogs. I mean, you take them and throw them in something like we ran in today, briars and like hardcore stuff compared to just, for instance, say you go out to Kansas. I mean, those dogs are going to run that rabbit out there 5 times as fast as what they were going to run it today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a little bit more open now.
I guess I'm just more like the GPS speed. If you look at like an average or whatever your Garmin may give you. I mean, one day it may show 3 miles an hour.
Yeah.
If you hunt out there, the next day it could show 4 or 5 miles an hour depending on.
I always forget to reset it. You know what I mean?
Too.
To really pay attention and figure out how fast they going and stuff like that. I always forget to reset it. I know them Garmin's got so many tools that, man, I don't even I don't know half the stuff that thing can do, but I always forget to reset it to keep track of some of that stuff, how fast the dogs are going. But like I said, I thought we did. How many rabbits did we end up seeing today? We saw, I would say 5. I thought we saw 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that great of running to start with. I mean, they just couldn't. They jumped quite a few, and they would run them. And we were talking about it was like,
I think the wind has a lot to do with it this morning.
coming out of the east like that.
Some people don't think it does, but I think it
I just
plays
wonder
a
if
factor in the running.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of dogs, just like me and Tori was talking that day, they run in a cone.
Mm-hmm.
Where that rabbit goes is like a scent. It throws out a scent other than just its feet. It throws out a scent.
Yeah.
And they run that cone.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the wind, and I've hunted a long time, but a windy day is not good.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get some up, and they'll run them, but they don't run them like a calm day.
Right.
I see a lot of guys talk about like the pressure and stuff.
Yep.
I should start paying more attention to that. I don't really pay attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think necessarily the wind plays that much of a factor personally, but maybe it does. You know what I mean? Because I've seen, like today, they struggled this morning, in my opinion, a little bit. We got on a few that they ran good. But then there's other days you go, it may be 15 degrees and 30-mile-an-hour winds, and it's the best day that you've ever had. So I think there's more there than what we'll ever know.
Pressure has a lot to do with it.
And I listen to like some of the deer hunters always talk about that, as far as the scenting conditions. You know, walking into a standard like ground scent on barometric pressure, low pressure days versus high pressure days, and like how that scent can lift off the ground and evaporate sooner. I forget which, if it's like 29, barometric pressure at 29 point whatever, it stays low. I can't remember which. I'm sure somebody would tell it, but don't know which one is which. If it's 31s, the scent either evaporates or it stays, or is it 29 where it stays low or evaporates?
I wonder if the thermals have stuff to do with it too, like in the hills and hollers. I mean, in the morning time they're rising up, and the evening time they're
sinking
drawing down. You know what I mean? We ran yesterday evening, and the running was good.
Yeah.
I wonder if those thermals pulling that scent down towards the ground more has some. Maybe it has something to do with it. Maybe it doesn't.
Yeah.
I could never. I mean, it just go off experience and what you see the dogs do on a day-to-day basis.
Right. And like you said earlier, that terrain, I think, plays a huge factor.
I think it is.
Flat ground, if you run in timber rabbits versus CRP or grass, open area rabbits is completely different.
Oh, my opinion,
swirl around and all.
And I think it's harder for them to run in CRP and tall grass and stuff like that than it is to run in the woods.
Why you say that?
I just, in the experience with my dogs, I think they run them in the woods a lot better than they do in the fields and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wonder about that too. If it's more of a the ground disturbance, you know what I mean? Like somebody once told me too, is like, even though we walk, or let's say a deer or a person, they may not necessarily be smelling the scent of us. It's maybe the ground disturbance. We crush the leaves as we walk. We're kicking up the dirt. Is leaving a trail of a different scent that may not be necessarily a human one. Maybe something like that with the dogs, with the rabbits in there, running on leaves and over trees and leaving scent on just by everything they're running under. If they keep it down compared to in that grass, I mean, there's some disturbance, but probably ain't quite the same.
Right.
That's so cool to think about it. Like, just figure out. I just try to keep note of some days they run. I try to tell people, like, when you go hunt with them for the first time, hey, it may be a good day, it may not. You can kind of tell whether it's going to be a decent day, or in that first rabbit or two.
Well, that's why I was talking to my uncle earlier on the phone, and we had got on the topic of good dogs. And that rabbit maybe the second or third rabbit that we got up, he ran right by me, and then dogs come over there, and
they just
acted like he couldn't even smell it. I was like, man, we're in for it today. We're in for it today.
Yeah.
But that's just part of it, Some days are good, some days.
I just recently seen a post on it, and the guy was like, "Don't be deceived by videos." And he posted, he had a comment on, I forget, I think it might have been Salt and Pepper Kennels. That's a real good kennel to watch too on Facebook. They do a lot of good stuff, but he had a video of them dogs come out there screaming. Then he had the comments on there. It's like, don't be fooled by the videos because they didn't circle this rabbit at all. That's kind of how I mean. towards the end, though, they actually, I don't know what changed. I know that weather, probably that weather coming in, but it was one switch where it just switched, and they didn't lose. They ran them rabbits y'all shot like they were attached to them for the most part. But them first few ones we saw, they could not.
That one they had down in that willow thicket today there when we was walking down that road to the left, they hit that thing hot and then just stopped. And that 2 weeks ago or last week, they run rabbits down in that thing all day long. They never did lose them and circle them and everything. But it just like they'd run a little bit and that was it.
Like we were talking, like today it seemed like if them rabbits kept running that consistent route, didn't throw a trick, didn't do nothing, the dogs were fine. But as soon as they like stopped or try to cut back or just make something, they couldn't figure it out. And we had how many dogs you had? I had
4.
6. So we had 10 dogs on the ground. I know you got good dogs too. It's like somebody would have figured it out, but
one of those things. It's good days and bad days.
Well, that and seeing what is actually, I mean, sometimes you don't see what happens. Sometimes they get in a hole and the dogs will show it to you. I mean, accounting for the rabbit's always a good thing, telling you, hey, you got in a hole or whatever. But like I was telling you yesterday, I seen that rabbit jump up and run 35 yards down a log. I mean, if I would have never seen that and I seen the dogs lose it and not be able to pick it back up, I would have never known, hey, he jumped up on that log 16 inches off the ground.
Yeah. But that's being out there though, man. Like we had some good scenarios that, just weird stuff that happens out there as far as like dogs doing that. You think the dog just lost a rabbit. No, them rabbits are way smarter. They ain't city rabbits. They are way smarter. The only thing you can do is run and hide and you still alive. I mean, you doing something.
Yeah.
To, stay alive. Like I seen that rabbit one time climb up. There was a hole in a tree, probably about 2 feet off the ground. That junk, he hopped on the log and hopped down in that tree, and the dogs went around there and lost it. But again, if I would have never actually seen him, and I gotta find that video because I actually got him on video doing it. If I would have never seen him do it, I would have just what the heck happened to that track? They just lost it. Got Bugs Bunnies out there, really.
Yeah, like you said, I've seen them set. The dogs will run them. They'll run out there and set, and let the dogs run past them. Once they get past them, they'll double back.
Oh yeah.
Go back the same way they came. Well, the dogs think they're backtracking. And they're really not. But they're tricky.
Pops, what's the best beagle you can remember having? What kind of traits did he have? What'd you like about him?
He had a black saddle on his back.
You probably don't even remember like the breeding. They were just grade dogs, weren't they?
They was dogs that was born.
They didn't have papers or anything.
No. His name
he done set up now.
His name was Ringo. $45 we gave him.
And what?
Here we go.
He was one of the best. We finally later figured out that him and my uncle's dog, that was a female. Ringo was male. Lady was a female. They was out of the same breed. And Jay's dog was tough. I mean, good. And Ringo was just as good.
Yeah.
He was the best I ever walked behind. If he would run down, and years ago we used to hunt railroad tracks.
That's what I started on.
He'd go down them railroad tracks, and if he passed up a brush pile, you might as well not kick it.
Ain't no rabbit in there.
But if he stopped and dove down in there, you better get ready. Because there's a rabbit coming
out of there. Yeah.
I don't know. He was, him and the lady dog were big beagles like Cody's. They wasn't quite as tall, but I'd say they was 18, 20 inch.
That's some big dogs. That's some big dogs.
They might have been mixed breeds or something.
They could have been.
Well, down south, I know a few guys down there who hunt them swamp rabbits. They like them bigger dogs like that. They just do.
But they came from flea markets. There've been several of them. The old boy we used to get them off of, that's where he went down there because he knew people that hunted them, and they never locked their dogs up. These guys that hunt down in there never lock their dogs up hardly. They
were just running
They just
constantly.
let them run constantly. Whenever they get tired, they come back home.
Yeah.
I think that plays a big part in it too. I mean, you take like for instance, like guys like you and me that work, if you get a few hours in the evening time or 2 or 3 days a week that you can go, or on the weekend, compared to some guy that can leave them turned out 24/7. I mean, you can't compete with that.
No. And my mentor, Mike Linton, he's taught me that a long time ago, that it just get all that puppy out of them way earlier, where they get to run free until they're about 6 or 7 months old.
It's all they know their whole entire life, every day, 24/7.
Yeah, that's all they.
He's like, most time you got to put a handle on them, but they gonna hunt. You know what I mean? And like, everybody familiar with them Branco Beagles, like that's kind of what they have access. Another guy I got to meet, Mr. Richard Bailey, knows Branco pretty well, and he was telling me stories about that, to where that's why those dogs are so good. He has a nice area, it's all fenced in, and them dogs run constantly. Like you said, for us people who work and stuff like that, whatever your family work, just other stuff going on, weather days, some days they just ain't, we go as much as we can, but like you said, it's just we still do what you can do.
Yeah, it's all you can do. But obviously with the way property is and stuff now, people don't want. It's hard to get permission places. So, if you think 35 years ago, people didn't care as much as what they do now, especially with the people hating on dog hunting and all this stuff.
Yeah, and now even I've seen it up there in Iowa and talked to people about it. It's like the land is changing hands so fast, to where other people used to be in the family for a really long time, and now other people come in and bought it and they don't want no hunting. There's a lot of people losing hunting ground for simple stuff like that. People who owned it, a family, he has somebody pass away or something, and then somebody else come in and buy it and they don't want nothing to do with it. It's like we all can work together on it. Most people I've run, I'm sure probably Cody's like, most people run dogs, like they're not trying to harm your property. They're trying to do nothing but hunt their game animal, and that's it. Most time it ain't gonna be in there all day. We just go in there hunting a little bit, and you really don't want to burn that bridge if somebody actually do let you hunt.
Yeah.
So you want to treat it as best you can, like it's your own property, respect whatever. That's why I'm happy with up there in Iowa. We got so much public, and a lot of people don't hunt rabbits up there. It's become more popular, but they don't hunt. So I got pretty lucky as far as that goes.
It's like that around here a little bit. There's probably a lot more people around here than there is where you're at that hunt dog or hunt beagles at least. And it's hard to find spots that are like the spot we were at today. The amount of rabbits in there. It's hard to find that. I know we got 3, but consistently jumping. We didn't have much downtime in between jumping.
No. And just even looking at the sign, we were talking about that too. It's like, even though they probably jumped a decent amount of rabbits, and you got 3. Well, we got 3 of them. But looking at all the signs, there's so many rabbit pellets everywhere. The little saplings were chewed up all on that one hillside. They were all chewed up, and we didn't even go to the other side. We really got deep in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know there's a bunch of rabbits in here.
You find a place them willows and saplings are eat up, they're in there. Yeah. That's not one rabbit's doing that.
Right. Yeah, that's a nice place, I thought. I said we didn't even get that far. Well, we weren't even never 250 yards from the truck. No. You can't beat that. Sometimes you go in them places where you turn them loose and they don't run a rabbits, you might cross it off the list and go back to the weather thing. It just might be in a bad sitting day. Yeah. Sometimes you got to go try them places a few other times. Or another thing I like doing when it's snow, I'll wait. That's when I do a lot of my scouting. When we first get some snow, and let it go for a day or two, then I start going checking out random places on maps. That'll tell you a whole lot right away.
And I think that's a big thing too. Trying to find spots and use your time wisely. You know what I mean? I don't want 5-10 miles on the dogs before we get a rabbit up. That defeats the purpose. It takes time away from everybody. But
so what made you get into beagles then?
Just being little and going with these guys when they had dogs, and then they got out of it for a while. My uncle's always had a few beagles here and there. He's always had them, but then as I got older and able to buy my own stuff, you know what I mean? I was like, I want some dogs. And then seeing stuff on Facebook, you know what I mean? Like, I want to do that. Or I've always been big into deer hunting, but then after deer season, I got all this time, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We're going to start rabbit hunting. So, and of course, I like to kill rabbits, but I enjoy the dogs more than anything.
That's what we said even just a little bit ago. We were talking. It's like we got our truck. and them dogs got going. They burned that rabbit up, and they all were going. That was my trip was made at that point. You know what I mean? Whether we shot another one, or
Like
we go tomorrow. Like
anybody that don't like to hear that sound, there's something wrong with it.
yeah, yeah,
There ain't nothing like hearing a pack of beagles run a rabbit.
yeah. It do something to you. It really do. I think anyway. That's that soul music I call it.
Well, that and wanting. I mean, if that's. I mean, everybody has a different mindset, but whether we got one on the tailgate or 50 on the tailgate, you drove 7 hours over here, so I want you to kill. I mean, I want to line the tailgate
Right.
with them just because
Yeah.
you made the trip,
Right,
but
right.
it doesn't always go like that.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
I mean, at least we got them up and ran some, and
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
man.
Regardless of what plays out tomorrow,
Right.
it's a successful trip in my book.
Man,
I hope
bro,
it is for you.
You already know that. You know, obviously I've been hunting a while too. I know them days go like that, but again, the relationship that stemmed from a Facebook message led us to this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like making the trip, hearing them dogs get on them like they did, and then obviously get the crack jokes, make memories with y'all, man. Like for me, that's really what it's all about. I mean, don't get me wrong, we definitely gonna knock down some rabbits, but I don't shoot nearly as many rabbits as I could, just because I just like, one, I like having a place where I can always go, you know, to run them. Then two, I just like listening and watching them dogs.
Well, you know, I got to thinking, even today, I mean, we got 3 or whatever, but I got to thinking, we hunted that place last weekend, only got 3, could have killed a lot more. But then, you know, I don't know who's been there since. So we went there yesterday when we got here just to check it out. And I wonder, I mean, maybe it does have a difference, maybe it doesn't, but I wonder if going in there running yesterday afternoon had anything to do with how them rabbits ran today. You know, maybe they knew what was up.
Right.
Maybe they didn't. Maybe that's just a thought in my mind. But.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's a legitimate dog. You never know, because that's almost a shock to them. And maybe after a few hours, they kind of calm down, but they hear that noise again. Because usually you hear a lot of.
They might be on alert, you know.
Yeah, that could be, and they don't want to mess around. Because I know some of them new spots you go to where them rabbits ain't never been run. I always try to tell people, hey, just wait, because you can probably shoot 2 or 3 running off that same line. They just trying to get out of the way.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard to tell which ones the dogs is running because they all come off that same exact trail, but they ain't never been ran before.
I think we got up 5 or 6. We got 2. We could have got all of them, but we didn't. You know, we just let the dogs run.
Yeah.
Well, if you kill all of them, you ain't got nothing else.
You don't have any. You know, you won't. And there's some places I'll go maybe once a year. And a lot of times, if somebody come hunt with me, I want to have a place where I can take them to. That way, I'm doing more scouting, and I'll take videos of them. It's like, if I can video them, I can shoot them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where if somebody ever messaged me and like, hey, I want to go rabbit hunt, well, boom, I know where I can take them immediately to where we can at least, you know, granted, scenting days and stuff like that, but they can see some rabbits.
Cody's got several videos. You just let them run.
Yeah.
I think when I first got into it, I was like that. I was wanting to shoot everything that they ran just because it was new to me. You know what I mean? I wanted to have something to show for all the work that I had put into them or whatever. But now, we care.
Yeah.
I'd rather them run them and have them there again tomorrow to do the same thing.
That way it gets them going.
And y'all run by the same rules I do as far as the jump shooting. Like, even that first, I try to tell people too, that first rabbit, I don't know, hardly, you'll never really see me ever put my gun up to it. I'm just not going to. I want them to circle. I want them dogs to settle in a little bit. You get a circle under there, maybe even 2 sometimes. Yeah. Just let them do their thing. Well, they have some fun too.
I think it gets them motivated too.
Well, especially when you have new dogs. Like, we've hunted before, or our dogs have hunted before or whatnot, but I had 2 today that had never been with a pack that big.
And I had a pup in there.
You got a pup in there. Yeah. You know, especially the first time you come here, especially on my end, I had never really ran with anybody else. So it was like a shell shock to my dogs, at least. Yeah. They didn't know what, you know what I'm saying? Yep. The pressure of your pack that was like a well-oiled machine. Right.
I don't know about that,
but well, considering that mine were just basically pups at the time or whatever, especially when you have new dogs, at least let them get in there and follow in and get going.
And I just recently did a video on that, as far as doing that with young dogs. Because I think, and you can say on this too, Pop, what you think about it, but if you got young dogs like that, one of the most overwhelming things that's going to happen to them is being thrown into a large pack. There's just so much going on that it's kind of like, whoa. Then you can tailor it down and reduce the dogs and get them to run.
Well, that's what I think when I first started. you know, there was probably some people I could have reached out to that would have helped me, but I was hard-headed probably, and I wanted to do it on my own. But I think that was maybe a negative on my end because that was an experience that I didn't give to them to be in a pack. You know what I mean? They were just basically braced together by themselves the whole time, so that's all they knew. And then, like, you guys come and had your pack, and they got in there, but that first day was kind of chaos for them because they didn't really know. And like you talked about, the pressure of it, I think, is what did it more than anything.
It's completely different. And having enough pack too to where those other dogs are okay with packing. Let's say them dogs go jump a rabbit, they'll see them other dogs come in with them, and then I was like, oh, okay, they're not that dog is thinking, oh, these dogs aren't so bad. You know, they're here to do the same thing I'm doing. And then before the end of the day, all the dogs they were running together. And we were slaying rabbits.
First day there at Fairbanks, they was kind of, they didn't know what was going on. And then when we went to Duggar, me and Torn and Cody went to Duggar and hunted that one place where them cattails was. They kicked it in gear.
Oh man, that was some good running up there. I had never seen. I don't know what's wrong with them rabbits up there, bro. Like, I don't know. Them rabbits are weird. Their tails looked weird. They had tails that were pointed instead of like a little cotton ball. They had tails that were pointed like this, and all they ran was cattails. That's it. You know, that's mainly what them rabbits is running. I had never seen rabbits running cattails like that. But everyone that we had jumped, they were right next to the lake. They were right next to the lake, basically. And them dogs, they ain't there had to be in there to get them to come out. And they ran pretty big circles. I mean, that one rabbit went out 400 some odd yards before he started coming back. Across that road. That's something to see too, to where different rabbits from different areas run different. And trying to get some experience in doing some of that stuff.
Yeah, especially in around them cattails in the water and stuff. You see what they do around the water. I think they get in obviously the swamp rabbits down south. See those guys running in the water. That's amazing to me.
I've seen them rabbits run across water to get away from dogs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, those guys down south, their dogs are like in
swimming.
The water.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, that was a cool video. I think we're talking about the same video.
Probably.
That rabbit come through, dude was standing there, and dogs literally sniffing the water, swimming through there. That rabbit hit the land, that dog hit the land, and I'm like,
that's something we're gonna have to do. Go on a trip, get some swamp rabbits.
If we know anybody down south, my Facebook friends, YouTube friends, we want to try to make that happen. That'd be fun. You know, somebody's saying down in Missouri, they got some, maybe Southern Missouri. That might be the closest way, unless we want to go all the way down to Alabama, Louisiana, wherever it is. Y'all kind of like me. Y'all don't mind traveling and seeing different places and hunting.
I like to see different spots, meet new people, obviously. I mean, that's something I got to get better at.
I've hunted Missouri, Kentucky, all of southern Indiana, a lot down in there. Kansas and Iowa. I've hunted them a lot of different places.
We were talking about snowshoe. I might have a place for us to go do that up in Wisconsin. It seems like
that'd be fun.
It seems like hares and the swamp rabbits run about the same, but they totally different, opposite terrain features. You know what I mean? Where them snowshoe hares.
Never ran hare, have you?
No, but I've hear people talk about the same way they talk about swamp rabbits, how big they run and the stuff they do. The hares up north and snow do the same thing, one's in water and one's in snow, about the same size of rabbit roughly. Maybe the hair is a little bit bigger, but
and those hares run.
Y'all hunted them up there?
We haven't hunted, but we ran them.
Oh,
we ran a running pen up there. Guys got 40 acres fenced in.
And,
I just wanted to get some experience on the dogs.
Actually, we've been up there twice.
Yeah, they're it's nonstop.
Them rabbits will run that whole perimeter of that 40 acres and just keep going round and round and round.
Nonstop. It's like getting on a big old buck rabbit around here. They can smell good. It's just nonstop. We're gonna have to do that.
Oh man, I'm with it, man. You already know that. We were talking about too. So we were talking about starting out rabbit hunting. What was some of the things that you did? Me too. I think we talking a little bit about the same thing. Kind of mistakes you made in the beginning to hunt with rabbit. Like somebody ain't never hunted rabbit before, just getting into it. What are some of the things to avoid doing if possible?
I think if you're just getting into it, you got to have patience first of all, and especially with the dogs. You got to be consistent with them as puppies. I mean, take them, especially even if it's in short time spans, you know what I mean? Give them a positive experience. But I had to learn to just kind of sit back and be patient, not run with the dogs and try to cut them off and do this and do that. Because I was wanting to see the rabbit and kill it, but I was just basically hurting myself because I should have just stayed where I was. You know what I mean?
That's one thing my dad told me. I was like him. I'd take off with the dogs. Dad told me, he said, stand still. He said, you can move 10 or 15 yards one way or the other. He said, but sooner or later, that rabbit's going to come right back through here. I listened to him, and sure enough, because I was running. I was young and running them, and I'd never get a rabbit. Like I told you, times I'd go and never fire a shot. But I was young and didn't know any better. I was trying to run the dogs with the dogs, and it didn't work for me.
And them rabbits are like anything else. I mean, deer, turkeys. I mean, that's their home out there. So if they're when they're coming back or circling coming back, if you're not standing still, I mean, it'd be like me sitting in your living room when you come walking in the room. They're gonna know that you're there.
Right.
Or if you're moving, they're gonna catch you, and they'll just either go the other way or I mean, they'll catch you before you catch them. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
If you run them, that rabbit won't circle. He'll keep going in a straight line. Because he hears the noise and sees the movement, he's not going to circle. He may eventually, but it's going to be a wide one.
Well, not necessarily that, but I mean, if he does start to circle and you're trying to cut the dogs off, he's going to pick you off, and then he's going to start going
somewhere else.
So you basically just kind of shot yourself in the foot at that point.
I think them rabbits, obviously they can hear real good and they listen for that type of stuff. But I think them jokers smell too. If you on the wrong wind, and I've seen it to where, y'all probably seen it too, where a rabbit will come to the edge, and not only is he listening for the dogs coming behind him, but you can see his nose moving. Like it's just twitching, just twitching. He's moving around looking, and his nose twitching. I got in my mind, that sucker smelling too. If that wind is going the right way, and he catch a whiff of something, he's gonna go the other way too, because he don't know what's chasing him. He just don't
survive with their nose, you know. And I think a rabbit can smell a coyote or a bobcat or something like that. If the wind's right, they could smell one, so they can get away from them, you know, instead of letting get up on them and get them. I think you're right. I think they can smell.
I've seen them suckers. They gonna see you if you get the moving when they come back. I think that was the hardest part for me, just watching the dogs too much, even when my rabbit is coming, because the rabbit's gonna have a gap most time. I don't care how fast the dogs really are. There's gonna be some gap, you know what I mean? Where there's 10 yard, 15. You know, today some of them they had some good sized gaps on them, just because the conditions or whatever. But watching the dogs too closely to where that rabbit done passed. If you looking at them and you can see them dogs, that rabbit's already done passed, you know.
Well, and like today, especially like in the stuff we're hunting, it was so thick. I mean, them dogs are coming through there as fast as they can get through there. But you got to, I mean, in the woods, that rabbit may have a 40, 50 yard gap on them dogs. But in that stuff, he was 75 or 100 yards, in my opinion. You know, he was a lot farther ahead than what you would normally think he would be.
Right.
So in situations like that, I mean, me running in that spot before, I kind of knew that ahead of time. But even if you have a faster set of dogs, usually you can tell once you get experience or whatever when that rabbit's probably going to pop out of where he's coming from. But that's not to say that he couldn't be double that distance in front of him.
And like you said, that come with just watching. You can kind of tell once you get a set of dogs that you hunt with quite a bit, you can tell what type of day they're having, and it'll kind of let you know, okay, these rabbits probably gonna have a gap. They just, you know.
Yeah, like we were talking earlier, that rabbit come right by me, and them dogs, I mean, mine especially, they just acted like they couldn't smell them.
Right.
So I knew right then that we may have a little issue today. And that's just, I mean, you'll figure that out. Not everybody has a good day every single time. That's just part of it, but you know, especially when I got started too, I had an idea what I was doing, but I didn't know what I was doing. So like I was telling you, I was thinking that I was helping them, taking them out, but in reality, I was maybe just setting them up for it. Maybe hurt them more because I was trying to have them jump a rabbit or whatever in spots that may not even have rabbits.
Yeah.
So maybe they jumped a deer or something. Then I have to correct them off that. But now looking back at it, if I would have just, I could have avoided that situation if I knew
a little bit
more or had somebody to tell me, hey, maybe you should go over here and do this or do that.
Yep.
It was a learning experience that I got out of it, but it was also maybe I guess you could say a setback. Maybe not as much for me as it was for the dogs.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And it could have been an expectation thing, but
well, yeah, too. I was expecting them to do something that in reality wasn't really something that they could have pulled off.
Me being able to tell you, I could never tell you because we always bought dogs that's already trained, and I never trained a dog before in my life. But,
and you're always learning something. You never know.
Oh man, those dogs always teach you so much. They teach you so much if you really. And I was thinking, like, this thing can't talk, so you got to figure out what he's trying to say to you, what he's doing, reading him, and him reading you, and he can't talk. You know what I mean? Yeah. It takes a level of understanding.
It's like the thing he was talking about with the Ringo dog about going past a brush pile or whatnot. You've probably seen this before too, but especially with Duke, and I'm sure other guys have got dogs that does it, but especially like on thick brush piles or whatnot. And just because I've seen him do it, I know that, hey, he's doing something that maybe not everybody knows what he's doing, but he almost like circled downwind of it and scent check it to see if he can smell one in there. Maybe there's one sitting in there, maybe there's not, but he's going to go try to get down below it and check it out before he goes in there. Is that being lazy on his part or is that being smart? I mean, I don't know. If you don't watch him and see that happen,
absolutely,
you'll never know what to
tail wag too. Have you ever noticed that?
Yep, at least in mine I have. Sometimes when they get the
hey, Waylon starts going like
helicopter. Hey, you better get ready.
Yeah.
You better get ready.
Now if they're going from side to side, I think they're hunting. If it's twirling around like a helicopter going around, they're getting ready to bounce.
Yep, I agree.
But we've seen that with our dogs.
Yeah, they get to go in every helicopter and it'll bounce like weird, like the tail don't know where to go.
Yeah,
well, that's when I'm recording. I've been recording. Something about to happen right now. Something about to happen.
And the whole wind thing. I mean, if I hadn't seen him do that multiple times, I'd never know what he was doing. I'm thinking, oh, he's just being lazy and not wanting to get in there. I'd be hollering at him, hey, get in here, right here, right here.
That's what I was doing.
Well, you see a dog that'll maybe you can tell the wind's blowing that way. He'd get on the back side of it and start going down through there, and then you see him just lock him up and then go right in there. And I mean, he was being methodical about it. It's not like he was just galloping down through there.
Absolutely. And that was one of the things I had to learn too, to where when we was growing up, we were always the dog. Me and my brothers, like, we were always the dogs. My dad, my uncles, and my papa and stuff, we had the guns or whatever. We were the ones kicking the brush pile. So you have an idea where a rabbit should be. And even today on some of the videos, I'm saying, like, man, there should be a rabbit in there. And sure enough, that sucker come out of there. But having a dog that's smart, I think it's smart. A dog is smart. Nah, if it's just doing that on every brush pile, okay, maybe not. But doing that, I've seen Ava do it. Some of the better dogs that I got too, they will definitely do that. But at that point, if they circle downwind of it, and there is one there, I want to see them get in there. And then that could, to me, determines, okay, are you lazy or are you smart?
Waylon does it quite often. He wins. He'll throw his head up and win. Cody Duke, he'll circle the brush pile and try to get downwind of that pile.
And he don't do it on every one of them.
No, he don't do it on every one.
I think he can probably smell it before he gets there.
Oh,
that's
man.
the reason why they probably do it.
I
don't know if they're trying to figure out where exactly that it's at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe that's what they're trying to do. I don't know.
I think that's what Waylon does. Like the wind blows a certain direction, and he wins one somewhere, and he'll take off. Last weekend, he done the same thing. We had just got a rabbit out of that pit there to the right that we walked down where we turned the dogs loose today. We had just got one out there.
Well, they had ran a rabbit 3 circles through there. So you would have thought any rabbit that was in there would have probably shot off.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he come past it and smelled it or something. But as soon as we killed that rabbit, it wasn't 30 seconds. He flew right back up through there and jumped that rabbit. So I don't,
smart.
what
to me, that's smart.
Or maybe that rabbit took off instead of him chasing it. he finished on the one that he was
Mhm.
running, and then he circled back and picked it up.
It's
again.
hard
I
to
don't
tell
know.
what happened because I wasn't up there.
These dog, I'll tell you, you got to think about all the scents, the ability a dog has to smell, and every scent that he's coming across in the woods between the leaves, sticks, dirt, mice, all everything that's up in there for him to pinpoint that one track. And as much as you hunt, them dogs got so much experience with some of that sort of stuff. In my mind, he knew exactly what it was. You know what I mean?
Probably.
Either he was finishing out what he was doing and going to jump that other one or not. You know what I mean? I think he knew what he was doing.
But I wish there was a way to be able to know exactly what happened. Because I think from the time they unsnap that leash to the time that they get the rabbit up, that's the most fascinating part to me is watching the dogs hunt and do what they do, then pulling the trigger. You know what I mean? Watching them work is.
It's a needle in a haystack. Obviously, you try to
know.
put them in the best position where rabbits are. They
Yeah,
can
of
jump them
course.
fast, but sometimes, even when I'm just exploring an area, you have no idea. And that's again, like you said, that's a fascinating part to me because you can look on a map, it looks good on the map, but when you actually go there, you have no clue if there's rabbits. It may look like they're supposed to be there. Now you literally taking dogs to a whole new area, and they have to do what you train them and what they love to do and jump a rabbit. Figure out where to go to jump a rabbit.
Yesterday, I kind of did the same thing. I looked at another spot down the road from where we were today. I thought, hey, that looks pretty good. Let's go check that for a backup spot, see if we can jump one up. We were there for an hour and a half, never jumped a single rabbit. So, now, and I'm not saying there wasn't a rabbit there.
Right.
But it's just kind of, especially on the days when you're trying to kill, it's a waste of my time to go back there. I don't want to be wasting time.
I think that's going back to that pressure system too. Like, maybe they felt it coming in yesterday, and today was even worse.
Because it definitely could. I mean, I believe that too. Though them animals know that weather way better than what we do.
Oh, yeah.
They feel it way more than what. So I wouldn't doubt that either. Because they were sitting tight. Remember, we walked past. Literally, the dogs went through. We walked past. 2 rabbits did this. We walked past there, and as I'm starting to come back, he jumped up from us to the bed right there.
Yeah.
And they were right there, and we just come through there. They weren't trying to move.
Yeah, there may be something to it, and there may not be. But I know there's a lot to it for fishing.
Oh,
pressure is a big factor in fishing.
I think it is in all wildlife,
I
whether it's
agree.
deer hunting,
Yeah.
anything.
That's a part of nature, though. That's a part of hunting too. Is trying to figure all that sort of stuff out.
For sure.
I'm gonna go either way, but my expectation might be different, knowing that they probably gonna struggle a little bit today. Just seeing a trend or seeing a pattern, like years past, east winds usually ain't that great for my area, and it's holding true for the most part. And
even like the guys up north.
Yeah, it was blowing. It was crazy. It was
even with like the guys up north with the snow that have all the experience on. I mean, they know what days are going to be good and what days are going to be bad. And I mean, especially like here, you get more snow than we probably do. But a month ago or something, we got like 15 inches of snow.
Yeah.
And what I want to take my beagles out, you know what I mean? I don't get to hunt on snow that often, but the day we did go, they struggled. I mean, was it because we had all the snow? Was it because of who knows?
Man, I'm telling you that about 2 inches, 3 inches of snow is all I really. That's it. Any more than that, you can run them, but it's just enough to knock it down to where they can see. Or some of them areas they got to come out of that grass. They can't stay out there because it'll pack it down. So
yeah,
I like it enough where you can walk on it comfortable and be able to see.
That's it. It's that place we went today. Oh man, can you imagine that in snow? Them hillsides the way it was with all them down trees on it. You'd just be able to stand up top and walk. I mean, or stand on the road down there
and we just hunted that one side. I mean, we didn't even get over into the other side, like down in by all them willows and there's 3 or 4 other hillsides over there. I mean, on that one side though, I mean, you would have had to get down in there. Them rabbits ain't gonna come out of there once.
Oh yeah.
2 of them rabbits went right into that and never come. I mean,
no, they disappeared. Yeah,
we lost them.
They
but
disappeared.
I don't think they would have come out of there anyway. They were just gonna circle down
in there.
That's what they did last weekend anyway. They just ran circles down in there.
Because even the first one that they ran that went across the road there, and we started to circle in there. The dogs come out where you can see the dogs real good, and they kind of ran the edge and went back in there. But I never seen no rabbit.
No,
it is growing up just enough to where them suckers could be running right to you and never
see them. Yeah.
Even if you were standing down in there. 'Cause I had that. I was standing on, I think it might have been the one you shot, on that hillside and kind of went back up it. They come across the road, went back up it, went down in the other creek bottom, whatever, and circled around. Somebody shot at it. I was standing on a log, and he probably was 10 yards away from it. I never seen him. And the dogs come right up, and he ran right on the other, there's a down log. The dogs went on the opposite down side of that log, and I'm like, I never seen him.
I think that's the one that you ended up shooting, because he did the same thing to me up top. There was a down log, and the dogs, I could see the dogs when they come through there, but he slipped right by me. I never seen him.
I never seen him. In the wind, you wasn't gonna hear him coming or nothing. That's the other thing is I made a mistake on shooting wise. Like I never following through, and we were talking about Pops too. One of the hardest shots on the rabbit is when that sucker's coming straight for you.
I probably missed more than I killed with running straight at it.
I'm gonna say
it just, I don't know. Maybe some people can do it. I can't.
You hold at their feet.
That means something.
He's about 3 foot in front of them, I guess.
That's
I don't
it.
know. I never have figured it out.
Well, y'all remember last time y'all come up there to Iowa? Man, I still say that rabbit had a force field. I'm telling you.
He popped out there, and I like, dude, he was going to get right by you or get up to you so he could shoot. All I seen was just a buckshot around the whole entire body of the rabbit, and then he took off.
Took off. I'm like, what the heck was that? I don't, man. That rabbit had a force field. I don't care what nobody say.
We never did get him, did we?
No.
But, you know, I mean, that's something, I mean, you won't ever forget that. I won't ever
No,
forget
man.
that.
Of course, I got it on video, too. So y'all ain't going to let me forget it at this point. I can't keep clowning everybody else on video and not put myself on there. Yeah. We'll be able to talk about that.
I think everybody has stuff they can look back on and say, hey, I screwed that up, or I screwed this up, or I should have done this different.
That's where you gain that experience, though. I mean, you can't beat that part of it.
No.
Knowing that I'm probably going to mess this up, but if I just get a little bit better each time I go out.
Well, and I think, too, personally, maybe for you, but for me, too, I mean, I know some guys don't get attached to them as much, but me and them dogs have been through a lot because they learned, and that was my first, you know what I'm saying? So it was like me and them against the world. We had a mission we were on, you know what I mean? So whether I screwed it up or not, we were going to give it a shot regardless.
A lot of guys send the pups training pins.
There ain't nothing wrong with that. I think it's more rewarding.
I didn't even hardly know what a training pin was until he started hunting.
Yeah.
He said there's guys that's got pins you can take your pups to and leave them.
I think it's more rewarding for you, though, when you get to take that pup out and you get to see him
get a rabbit, bounce one up and get it. And that's what we done. And then we drug it around in the yard and let him chase it. And then we got the little boy down a little bit south of us had these Tennessee redbacks. And we got some of them and put them in a cage and let them go around it. We basically trained them ourselves. I didn't know what to run.
And I used them because it was so hard for me around home to trap a wild rabbit. Like I couldn't get one trapped. And it got to a point where I was like, man, I got to get something to get them interested. You know what I mean?
Look, I figured that part out, at least up where I'm at. I like running pin. I mean, I've only used running pin once just to see what it was like. Because I normally do the same thing y'all do.
I had Ace started.
I don't have an issue with them because they work, you know, but I just never. There was not enough close to me to be able to do it, so I just had to figure out another way.
I had Ace started in a running pin from a guy a little bit south of me, and he did a good job, got him going for me and everything. The only reason I did it is because it was like in July, and I was having a hard time finding rabbits. And I needed him to get going, so I took him. But it was more rewarding for me when I did it in the wild on seeing him open up for the first time.
Man, I was just talking.
I never even knew what one was until he got into the dog.
And that's something too, man, that most people have a story about hearing them dogs open up for the first time. I was having a conversation with a guy about that recently. It do something to you. It's something you will never forget. I don't care if you're talking about coon dogs or you got bird dogs, you see them point for the first time, or beagles, you hear them, they go from a squeak to that dog's opened up and he's moving it. You know what I mean? That dog knows. I mean, it just do something to you, and that's how you get hooked on all of this stuff.
We took Remy, I don't know how many times. She'd just run around, chase after the dogs, and then she'd come back.
Yeah.
Never would bark or nothing. And then one day we took her down there. Them dogs hit a rabbit. She got the smell and opened up, and she never looked back.
There's something that clicks inside.
That's it.
She just went crazy.
That's it.
Oh, and everybody wants to, like,
And she's
You want to take that.
the only
I was the
experience
same way.
the only experience she's had is with the other dogs.
You know, I wanted to take them out and have them start immediately because I wanted to go, but that just ain't how it works. I mean, some dogs may be like that. You may take them out and they may start the first time you put them on the ground.
Absolutely, but that expectation of having it like that is not
good.
realistic usually. And like you said earlier, sometimes you put them dogs in bad situations because you want them to start earlier and they just ain't ready for it, to where you can almost create a bad habit, so to speak. I get going, or just keeping it as, and Mike always taught me this, is keep it as exciting as possible for 15 to 20 minutes and then put them up.
Yep.
You know, do something like those little short, instances where they can have a good experience in a short amount of time, and then put them up, let them think about it, and then do it again, and then make it longer. You know, they show you that they can do it longer. Then you do add more onto it, keep doing it, and before you know it, they'll be doing whatever they need to. But
well, that's what there's one vivid situation like that. They were pups, probably 5 months old. I had got them going, so I took them a place close to home. They jumped a rabbit, ran it for 25 minutes or something, and they lost it.
Yeah.
Looking back, what I should have done was just put them in the box and went home.
Well,
Instead,
we done that down at Duggar, that running ground down there.
Yeah.
They was hot on it. We finally caught them and took them back.
Yep.
They was mad.
Yeah.
They was mad, but
I was by myself this day, and I should have just put them in the box, took them home, waited till another day, and done it again. Just repetition, doing that. What I did was I just kept pushing them to try to get another one up.
Yep.
Well, they jumped a deer. So obviously it's a learning experience for them because they got corrected off of it. But looking back, I could have avoided that.
Yeah.
Maybe I could have, maybe I couldn't have. But I think personally I could have avoided it.
I think some of them situations too, that a lot of times, I think, and I could be wrong on it too, where I think if you put them, because I've had dogs that had never ever touched a deer, but they've always been consistently on rabbits. You know, that's the first thing they got, and they learn that was the thing. They don't know anything. You know, I'm sure they smell it. I know they do, but they never ever mess with them. I never had to, like Tater, I've never had to correct her on a deer, and she's always just been about rabbit. But it was some of them situations where them quick little, even if it's quick, you know, you drive, I got to drive to most of the places I hunt too.
Yeah.
But I'd rather drive there, have them have an excellent experience, catch them, put them up, and now I go home.
Yeah.
That little short thing just made a world of difference compared to setting them back if you keep pushing them. You know,
I think that scent settles in their head there, and the next time you take them out, they're looking for that scent
same
right
thing.
there. Yeah, because you pull them off of a red hot rabbit, and they didn't like that. So the next time they go out, they're looking for that same thing.
Yeah, and doing it the right way. You know, when you pull off of them, still love them up.
Yeah.
Don't pull them off of it mad, because then it might flip the other way to where they're like, Dad didn't like that. I shouldn't do that anymore. And you got a whole other issue.
Or if they hit a check or something and lose it, snatch them up.
That's why I like trying to, if you can. With my pups too, when I was starting them, I almost specifically was evening hunting. Literally, like, one, it made me leave on time just because I know the sun was going down. You know what I mean? I know there's some people that run at night. I never have, but I know there's people who do it.
Yeah.
I would always go 45 minutes before the sun go down or something like that, and know them rabbits are nocturnal for the most part. That's when they probably gonna be most active and going. And I know that was my time limit, to where you got young dogs, you don't want to keep pushing them too much unless they can show you. Like Juice is crazy. Like he was running rabbit at 3 months old. I mean, like not just pecking them. Like he was running rabbits at 3 months old, and he never went back. Not all of them do it, but it was, again, all evening type stuff where I had a time limit. So once that sun go down, I'm going, because I didn't bring my light, my coon light or nothing, so I knew I ain't gonna be able to see.
That's what we did with my first two, all evening time, maybe 25, 30 minutes, get in right there, always get one up, get them on it. This is crazy, but people probably still look at me like there's that crazy guy that I seen in town. The Goodwill had like a yard out in front of it, probably like a little acre patch or whatever, and you can count every night there's 4 or 5 rabbits sitting out there. Every night I'd be over there cutting them dogs loose on,
Yeah.
on them rabbits in the Goodwill
Yeah.
parking lot. But I mean, I was trying to get them going. You know what I mean? Then I can translate that into the woods once we get
There's
going.
several nights we went over there.
I'd even wait till after dark. I'd be out there
Yeah.
with a flashlight shining them, cutting dogs.
The very first time we went down there, we had them on leash, and we take them over there.
Yep.
Let them run.
They were just little. They were
Yeah, they
probably 3 months old.
It's funny, bro, because I did the same thing, and I was in an apartment. So, at this time, I was working with like underground utility type stuff, and it was like an old junkyard and an abandoned railroad, but it was a big field in between the abandoned railroad and the junkyard, and same thing. But this place had like 30 rabbits, and I'm not even joking. Like you can probably count 30 rabbits sprinkled along in the grass, just hanging out. And I would take them there and just cut them loose, cut them loose. So I actually put a trap down there. So I had trapped a wild rabbit, and I had it in my apartment just to show him a rabbit.
Yeah.
While I was in my apartment, showing my beagle pups a dang rabbit in my apartment, you know. And they were little. I mean, the rabbit was dang near as big as they were at the time. You know, they were a little bit bigger. But doing stuff like that is like, I think that's what separates, you know.
Yeah.
One, it's a memory, but then two, it's like, I'm gonna figure this thing out. And I ain't never trained a dog or nothing before. I just knew if I keep doing something, I keep putting them in front of rabbits, or I keep going, eventually something gonna happen. That's all I knew for the most part.
That's what I did. Which you've been in it a lot longer than I have. So I've only been at this 4 years now or whatever. But
we kept those Tennessee redbacks on the back porch and fed them and take them out and put them in the cage. We finally took them out after the dogs got going, and they were still young. Let them chase them, and then they grab and get away from them and left them alone.
Fun having all those memories and them stories, man. Like that was the thing that hooked me as far as hunting in general, even when we were little. It's like hearing all the stories from my dad, my uncle, my pawpaw used to go hunting and stuff. Like that was the main thing that always hooked me more than anything, is like hearing the stories of them, the hunting trips, the funny stuff that happened out there that you could never recreate. You just had to be there.
Well, that's what I don't think some people understand or can grasp why you get addicted to it or whatnot. It's just I can't explain why I like it. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just addicting, especially for me with the memories and stuff.
Right.
That's more important to me than anything.
I agree. 1,000% man.
Yeah, if we'd had videos of everything we done, wow, it'd been something to have. They never had this stuff back.
Right.
When I was young. Only thing we had was a Polaroid camera.
Right.
Take a picture and put it in an album. So
Mhm.
we had videos now is just unbelievable.
We were talking a little bit about that too. Is like I record a lot of the stuff I'm doing is never to say like, oh, my dogs are better than yours or I'm better than you. It's really being able to look back. You know, I lost my best male this spring, you know, Benny, and I have videos that I can still watch. I miss that dog every single day because he was just literally, he did everything he wanted. Retrieve rabbit, jump rabbit, run. I mean, everything you want out of a rabbit dog. He set the bar for me in my mind of what a rabbit dog is. I get to watch them videos, you know, and see them still and just remember, you know, memories, you know, and then it's down the road where, you know, maybe 10, 15 years down the road, I can look back on some of the dogs I had, you know, and friends I've had. Hey, man, we've been friends for 15 years now. Hey, remember this hunting trip we had? And he pulled a video up, and, you know, that's always what it's been about for me, and not, oh, I'm better than you because my dog can do this. I'm like, man, I ain't never been that way, man. Because I'm not competing with the people. I'm competing with how I was training the dog yesterday. I'm my only competition in my mind. How am I training my dogs today compared to how I was yesterday? And if somebody out there got, you know, good dogs and training them a certain way, I'm going to reach out, hey, how'd you do? Like, what'd you do? Maybe I can pull something of what they did.
Yeah.
Man, that's all it is. You know, I'm trying to perfect the craft of doing this thing to where I can be one of the best trainers out there and have dogs that consistently do a certain thing and figuring it out. I know a different dog, got different personalities like we do and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's never been to like showboat or none of that. Man, I ain't never been that way.
I ain't either, Steve. I never have.
I just do it mostly for, like you said, for the memories and stuff.
That's it, man.
I put it on Facebook to look back at it and say, hey, you remember when we did that? Or
Bro,
remember when
I
we
get
did
Facebook
this?
memories
Or,
of the hunt we
I
had. It
know.
it show, and that's pretty cool. Facebook do that. It show you, hey, this on this day 2 years ago, you
Yo.
know, you were hunting here or whatever. It's like,
Especially for like memories and stuff, because you can't replace that.
it's like, unfortunately, these dogs gonna pass away before we want them to, and before
Yeah.
us. You know, in most situations to where. But the friendships you developed and this sort of stuff, man, is beyond it. I'm telling you. And the network of dogs across the country, you start getting into that, it's huge, you know. And I tell people all the time, people message you about, hey, you got dogs for sale? It's like, I try to vet them first because I literally can make a phone call. And if you want a dog, like, I can literally make 1 or 2 phone calls and you could have a dog, you know. But at the same time, you know, as people just want to say that. But the networking of dogs is like, I've developed these relationships with these people to where they trust me, you know, like I would trust them. If I need a dog or something, I know I can call you or, you know, a few other people and be like, hey, I'm down. Can you hook me up? Well, if you don't have it, you like, hey, just hold on. Make a few call this guy. He got something for you type of thing. It's like building those relationships is, again, along with the memories, is what it's all about, my opinion.
Yeah, I wish years ago we'd had videos like we got today. Some of the stuff that I've seen and seen the dogs do.
And it's all positive stuff, you know what I mean? I would say 75 to 80% of the people out there are good people. And
Yeah.
I mean, you always have a bad seed in everything that you
Right.
do, whether it's hunting or whatever. I think most people are good.
But yeah, I'm gonna sign off on this. Just for now, we gonna sit here and talk some more. I can tell you that much. This is what we do, man. We talk dogs all the time. And I appreciate Cody for inviting me up here to hunt. Obviously, Pops and all his knowledge and everything, man.
Yeah.
It's what it's all about. Like I said, my boy is on TikTok, my boy on Facebook. Check him out. Like some of his videos, man.
Cody Ferran.
Yep.
Everything's under that. Facebook.
Check them out, man. We're gonna see some videos together, and this go beyond Facebook. This gonna be a friendship for a long, long time, man. And we look forward to some of the trips we got planned out, some of the turkey hunts we gonna have coming. But besides dogs, turkey hunting is my favorite thing to do. I'm Stevie Thomas with Balling Out Kennels, and we appreciate y'all. And we're gonna talk some more dogs. That's what we're gonna do. So.